Imagine fighting for your life in a hospital bed, tubes everywhere, your body betraying you only to discover your mother-in-law is back. Home whispering poison into your husband's ear. Divorce her, she's too weak. Fast forward a year, she's the one who's sick now begging for my help, and my answer? A flat out no. Hey, everyone, welcome back to Reddit Revenge Stories, where karma doesn't just knock, it kicks the door down. If you've ever been stabbed in the back by family and dreamed of that sweet, satisfying comeback, you're in the right place. Hit that like button if justice gives you goosebumps. Subscribe for more epic tales, and let's dive into this one. Trust me, by the end you'll be cheering. Let's set the scene. Sarah, 32 years old, married to my husband, Mark, for 7 wonderful years, or at least that's what I thought. We have 2 amazing kids, our son, Jack, who's 5 and full of energy, always running around with his toy trucks, and our daughter, Lily, 3 years old now, with her big curious eyes and infectious giggle. Life was good until last year when everything shattered it. It started with my pregnancy with Lily. What should have been a time of joy turned into a nightmare. Complications hit hard, severe preeclampsia they called it. My blood pressure skyrocketed, my vision blurred like I was looking through fogged glass, and suddenly I was rushed to the hospital. I spent over a month there, hooked up to machines that beeped incessantly, the sterile smell of antiseptic clinging to everything. I could barely move without pain shooting through my body. Every day felt like a battle, not just for me, but for the tiny life inside me. Mark was by my side when he could be his hand squeezing mine, but he had to juggle work and caring for Jack at home. That's when his mom, Evelyn, my mother-in-law, 68, and always the picture of stern authority, stepped in to help. I remember lying in that bed, the fluorescent lights humming overhead, feeling a flicker of gratitude. At least Evelyn's there, I thought. Should keep things running smoothly. Oh, how wrong I was, but I wouldn't find out the truth until months later when the wounds were supposed to have healed. Fast forward a bit. Lily was born healthy, thank God. A squirming bundle of pink cheeks and soft cries that melted my heart. I came home weak, exhausted, but overjoyed. Life slowly pieced itself back together. Mark and I fell into a rhythm. The kids thrived, and Evelyn, she visited occasionally, her smile tight, her comments laced with that passive-aggressive edge she'd always had. You look tired, dear, she'd say, her voice dripping with false concern as she eyed the messy kitchen, but I brushed it off. Family, right? Then one quiet evening months after my hospital stay, Mark and I were curled up on the couch after the kids were in bed. The living room was dim lit, only by the glow of the TV we weren't really watching. He took a deep breath, his fingers twisting the edge of a throw blanket, and finally spilled it. Sarah, there's something I need to tell you about Mom. While you were in the hospital, my stomach dropped. I could feel the air thicken like the room was closing in. He told me everything, how Evelyn hadn't just helped, she'd waged a quiet war. Multiple times over cups of coffee in our kitchen, she'd leaned in close, her voice low and insistent. Mark, you deserve better than this. She's too fragile, always sick. How can she be a good wife, a good mother, if she's falling apart? And the worst part? She urged him to cut his losses, to divorce me, and start fresh with someone healthier, someone who wouldn't drag him down. I sat there, frozen, the words echoing in my head like a bad dream. Betrayal burned in my chest, hot and sharp. How could she? While I was alone in that hospital, staring at white walls, willing my body to hold on for my family, she was trying to tear it apart. Mark swore he didn't take her seriously, that he shut her down every time. She's just overprotective, he said, his eyes pleading. But why wait months to tell me? The frustration built like a storm cloud, dark and heavy. I felt powerless, disrespected in my own life. For a while, I tried to move past it. Life demanded it. The kids needed me. Work from home kept me busy with endless Zoom calls and emails, but every time Evelyn called or stopped by, I replayed those words in my mind. Her help felt tainted now, like a gift wrapped in thorns. I kept things civil for Mark's sake, smiled through gritted teeth at family dinners where she'd pat my hand and say, "I'm so glad you're better now." But inside, frustration simmered, turning to quiet resentment. Then came the false hope, a moment that almost tricked me into thinking things could heal. It was a few weeks ago at a family gathering. Evelyn pulled me aside in the backyard, the sun filtering through the leaves, birds chirping like nothing was wrong. She looked at me with those sharp eyes and said, "Sarah, I was just worried about my son's future back then. You understand, right?" Mothers worry. It wasn't an apology, not really. No, I'm sorry. No acknowledgement of the pain she caused, but for a split second, I felt a flicker of softening. Maybe she regretted it. Maybe we could move on. But nope, that illusion shattered soon after Evelyn was diagnosed with a chronic illness, something serious requiring surgery and months of recovery. She couldn't manage alone in her big empty house. Mark came to me one evening, his face etched with worry as we washed dishes side by side. The water ran hot steam rising, but the air between us chilled. "Sarah," he said, drying a plate slowly, "Mom needs help. She could move in with us for a bit. Since you work from home, you could keep an eye on her during the day." I stopped scrubbing the sponge dripping in. My hand, the audacity hit me like a slap. This woman who tried to convince my husband to abandon me when I was at my weakest now wanted my care, my home, my time. The frustration boiled over into something fiercer, a breaking point. I could see it all so clearly, the hypocrisy, the entitlement. She hadn't apologized, hadn't changed, and now family was guilting me into forgiveness. "No," I said, my voice steady but edged with steel. Mark's eyes widened, the plate slipping slightly in his grip. "Absolutely not. The woman who whispered for you to divorce me while I fought for my life in that hospital, she's not welcome here, not under my roof, and certainly not under my care." He stared, then argued, "You're being cruel." "Sarah, holding a grudge like this, family helps family no matter what." His words stung, echoing the betrayal all over again, but I held firm, my heart pounding, a mix of fear and determination surging through me. What if this drove a wedge between us? What if I was wrong? The backlash came fast. His siblings blew up my phone texts, pinging like accusations. "Heartless," one said. "She's old, she's sick, and she's sorry." Sorry? She hadn't said it to me, not once I pictured her. In her hospital bed now, roles reversed, but without the venom. She'd shown still doubt crept in during quiet moments, staring at the ceiling at night. Mark's back turned to me in bed, the silence thick. Was I too cold? Too unforgiving? But no, this wasn't about grudge holding. It was about boundaries, about reclaiming the power she'd tried to strip from me. I planned my response, carefully rehearsing in my mind during late night feeds with Lily. If they pushed harder, I'd lay it all out calmly, factually. The revenge wasn't flashy. It was quiet, unyielding refusal, justice, and saying, "You don't get to hurt me and then demand my help." As the days dragged on, Mark barely spoke to me, meals eaten in tense silence, the kids picking up on the vibe, asking why Daddy was sad. Evelyn's apology never came, just more pressure through the family grapevine. But I stood my ground, the weight lifting a little each time I reaffirmed it to myself. Finally, the climax hit. During a heated family call, Mark put it on speaker, his siblings' voices crackling through. "Sarah, come on, she's begging now. She needs you." I took a deep breath, my hands steady on the phone. "No," I repeated, voice clear. "She tried to destroy my family when I was vulnerable. Now that she's vulnerable, that's karma, not my responsibility." Evelyn's reaction? Through the line, I heard her in the background, voice cracking with disbelief, then anger. "I was just looking out for my son." She snapped, no remorse, just defensiveness. Humiliation colored her tone. The mighty matriarch reduced to pleading. Mark's face paled, realization dawning. The call ended in stunned silence. Relief washed over me like cool rain, triumph mixed with a bittersweet ache. I'd taken back control, not with shouts, but with a firm boundary, no more powerlessness. And the end, this wasn't about revenge for revenge's sake. It was about justice reclaiming the respect I deserved. Karma doesn't always strike with lightning. Sometimes it's a quiet door closing, reminding us that actions have consequences. Well, right? If this story fired you up or gave you that satisfying chill, smash the like button and drop in the comments. What's the most epic family karma you've witnessed? Subscribe for more Reddit revenge tailies, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay savage.